Welcome to the Reece Report. I am Andrew Reece, the mouth of the North, and I am bringing you a historic episode. And the reason it's historic is because my dad, yes, John O'Leary, my dad, is on the show for the first time. And we have brought him on here because he's had to suffer for a very, very long time as a Leaf fan. See, my dad's 66 years old, okay? And the Leafs haven't won a Stanley Cup in 53 years. They also haven't won a playoff round in now 17 years after the biggest choke job I've ever seen in my life, blowing a 3-1 lead to the worst team in the playoffs, the Montreal Canadiens, a rival of the Leafs.
Right.
So I've brought my poor dad on here to talk about his embarrassment of a franchise and why they continue to struggle in elimination games, in the playoffs. They haven't won a series since 2004. So we're going to get into that. So, Dad, you want to tell me what's wrong with your team?
Well, let's go easy on this, okay? There's not a lot wrong with the team right now. They're just taking their, trying to keep a winning team and be consistent. They're obviously not ready to win the cup right now with the team they have structured the way it is right now. So I would.
Dad, they haven't won a round. What are you talking about, cup? They haven't won a round.
Oh yeah, well the rounds, okay. This year would have been the chance to win the round, but I don't think the 3 years before that they were quite ready yet. I mean, they were not even supposed to be in the playoffs.
The last 2 years, though, Columbus and Montreal, no excuses.
Yeah, no excuses there. But I want to just reiterate, I'm not that poor as you think. I mean, I got to see the one Stanley Cup in 1967, mind you. I was only 12 years old, but so the memories, it was there, but it's not the same. If you
was it black and white TV during that time?
Black and white TV, and they beat Montreal in 6 games, and I was already just moved. My dad just moved up here to Downsview, and I remember vividly watching at the neighbor's house them winning the cup, and it was exciting. But it's not the same when you get to your adult life where you can go downtown and party, and it's just not the same. So I haven't really. It's been a long time,
yes,
and I've seen a lot of playoffs over the years. Mm-hmm. And I'm not really too disappointed with the Leafs' history in the playoffs because they've been always a pretty decent team in the playoffs when they get in. They do pretty well sometimes as the underdog is. I don't think they do too well as favorites, as you know, against Montreal as a favorite. Philadelphia 2004 favorite, knocked out. I don't know what it is, but the last time they lost and had a 3-1 lead was against Detroit in 86-87. But then that team was 10 games under 500. Mm-hmm. So they weren't expected to go far anyway. Right. They beat St. Louis and they lost to Detroit. But this one here, it hurt because we're talking about the Habs here who are garbage. And then, 18th place overall, and I hate the Habs. So this is an opportunity to shove it up their ass. And, because they have their 22 cups, we have 13. So it's a big rivalry. But unfortunately, I was just shocked.
What do you think happened? Now, the Leafs lost to Vars in game 1, but they still dominated up until game 4. They had a 4-0 shutout in game 4. And then there is zero excuse, Dad, for them coming out as bad as they did in game 5 and game 6.
Well, you can't start games down 3-0 and 2-0, and that's on the coaches. I mean, they weren't prepared. I don't know what these coaches were doing. I mean, the way they started off these games, but they came back and they did all the right things. They outplayed Montreal, but then the mistakes started.
A 2-0, Dad. Alex Galchenyuk. Like what was he doing? What was he doing? He spun around and passed it to nobody, and they got a 2-0, and I've never seen that in the playoffs before, a 2-0 like that.
I was shocked to see that. I go but then again, I'm not shocked with the Leafs, the mistakes and their defensive play with some of the things they do, and their defense.
And then Travis Dermott in game 6, the spinorama to nobody.
I call it the Savardian spinorama because I know Savard did it in Bobby Orr.
Well, he's not Bobby Orr.
No, but what happened there again? What happened there? This is Bogosian partly at fault too, because I don't know how he blocks a shot with his sideways. Like if you're going to block a shot, block it right. Just
Right.
get in front of the puck, because this kind of fooled Campbell.
Yeah.
And that was a routine save for him
Yeah.
because it was a wrist shot.
I don't think he
But
saw it.
So what happened in the Gluchenik one was that the way the Leafs play is that the defenseman always goes in, right? They dump it in or they drop it at the point and away they go. So what happened there was that
what was Bogosian doing printing?
He dropped it. He dropped it to Glitch. I can't even say his name.
Galchenyuk. Yeah.
And then away and Bogosian goes into the corner, and now this guy here, he just turns around and then blinds passes it across, and away we go.
Yeah.
But this is the choke job was on the players, some of them because they were nervous. I don't know who was Dermott, and maybe some players were not playing up to par. And Marner. Well, let's talk about Marner, Mr.
Marner was horrible.
This is not the first time he's doing this stuff. He's doing this stuff during the regular season. He plays the
same
way.
19 playoff games without a goal, Dad.
Yeah, so we know his playoff history. He plays the same way in the regular season that he does in the playoffs. He doesn't bring his game up a level. And he's soft, and he makes these mistakes, backhand passes to the other team, trying to beat guys one-on-one.
Throwing it over the glass.
Yeah, I don't believe that one. He had all day, like he's in the middle of the ice.
Yeah.
I don't know what he's doing.
He's scared. He looked scared.
He heard footsteps. I don't know what he's hearing.
Yeah.
But
and then what about the guy? I noticed the jersey there, Dad.
This is my man.
So what happened to this guy who disappeared?
I think Austin. Sometimes he gets a little inconsistent. Like when he gets aggressive, he plays his best game, like he did in Game 2. And this guy needs to get a little more mean because Lady being, I know. Okay.
So you didn't like the smiling when he was being ragdolled in the corner there?
No, I'd be pissed off. I think I'd be turning around and saying, buddy, you know why you're not going to push me around? But I think that he responded, and then he disappeared. I don't know. He's had his chances, though. I have to give him that. At least he hit some goalposts, some crossbars. So he was involved. He did his part. So I can't really get too mad at him. But the power play, let's talk about that.
Oh God, is that horrible?
Well,
yeah,
that's on the coaches too. They never made any adjustments. I gotta say yes. They made Sandin go in there at the end of the season, and they tried him on because Riley. We know how bad he is, so they had to put Sandin in there. Sandin does a better job already. Better passer, has a good shot. This kid is going to be really good. This kid's going to be good.
Yeah, too predictable the power play.
This is why Riley should be traded. Another reason why you can get Sandin to step in, and then you get rid of Riley. That's what I would do.
You think the Leafs should get rid of Riley? Okay.
I think so because his contract's up next year, and I think why not try to get a nice, a defenseman, another big defenseman who has a good shot. I'm not sure if this Parayko guy in St. Louis is that kind of defenseman that's available for that we can swing a trade with St. Louis.
Yeah.
But I mean that would be nice, and then Sandin can step into Riley's spot. So no big deal there. No loss there as far as I'm concerned.
I don't see that happening. I don't think they're going to make any moves. But if I was going to make a move, I would trade Nylander, and not because he wasn't great, because he was the Leafs' best player in the playoffs. Maybe him and Spezza were the two best players for them. But Nylander's value will never be higher, and his contract is good enough where a lot of teams would be interested in him, and you can get a defenseman for him. And I don't think he's irreplaceable on the Leafs. I think you can replace his production.
Yeah, I think so. I think that's true. I can agree with that. And it's hard. It's going to be hard to trade Marner unless you really if you get a package back with a forward and a defenseman for him. Yeah, go for it.
It's a big contract that I just don't know. Yeah, I don't know who can trade for that contract.
The price has to be right, so it's going to be tough going. So I just hope Keith changes his ways too, because I think he kind of really coddled these guys throughout.
Well, Montreal made adjustments, and the Leafs didn't.
Yeah, I think the coaching staff in Toronto, I don't know what they were thinking with the power play. Like they knew it was bad in the last 30 games of the season. I don't know. They had to get someone in front of the net when they did it with Simmons. They didn't change that. They went back to the four forwards and Riley at the point with Marner. It's not working. Neither guy can shoot.
Very
So
predictable.
the teams, it was easy coverage for the teams. All they had to do is cover one guy, and then the other guy can't shoot. So it was easy peasy for the opposing team. So they didn't make the adjustments there. I don't know what happened to Malhotra, and it was a Manny, Manny, and Hackstall. So I don't know what Keith was thinking there, but
we get to Game 7, and once again, Dad, every single year, like, you must have a curse on your team, because every single year, whether it's Freddie Anderson or God bless him, Campbell played great, but that goal through the legs every single year in Game 7, that shit goal through the legs, it happened again.
It's something, eh? That goal between the legs. Yeah, I don't know that. Still, we still had a chance in that game, and then they go up 2-0, and it's
Corey Perry of all people.
Corey Perry, yeah, I know Corey Perry. He was probably obviously a better pickup than the
Leafs could have had him for nothing.
Than Joe Thornton, even though Jumbo Joe did start off pretty good.
Yeah, but, he was a liability for the Leafs at the end of that series.
Yeah, and I don't know what happened to Simmons if his hand was bothering him.
They stopped using him. They stopped using him, and then Nick Foligno, like one of the worst trades. I know a lot of Leaf fans and a lot of Leafs announcers, and they say this is a great trade. I think this is one of the worst trades the Leafs have made in a long time.
Yeah, I know, giving up the first pick, and then what else they gave up in that one. But I thought that Foligno didn't play 100%. What I hear, he was 50%. So what do you do? I mean, you got to try to keep this guy if you can.
I mean, look at the other teams that you got. The Islanders picked up Paul Mary. He's playing great for them.
Yeah,
the Penguins picked up Carter. He played great for them.
Yeah.
And the Bruins, until they got eliminated, they had Hall, who was playing great for them. I just don't know what the Leafs are doing. And Riley Nash, totally useless. Riley
Nash was a waste of time. But
David
I'm just
Riddick,
saying
horrible.
I just think that Riley Nash should never started the first game. I mean, that was a slap in the face to Galchenyuk because he had played so well. Why would you sit this guy out the first game? I don't understand. What was the purpose of Riley Nash?
Yeah.
It's not like they were playing the Boston Bruins, or they're playing a grinding team where they need some hitting.
Yeah, he gave them nothing. Yeah, he gave them nothing.
Yeah, so what I'm just saying is that
there's not a lot of balance on the team. That they're just
I think the Foligno is you might have to keep him because if you can afford him, because Hyman and Foligno, now you got two kind of playoff players. They need hard players going in the playoffs. They're too soft, and this was the whole idea, is to get this guy. So you have to try to keep.
Let's talk about Hyman, Dad.
Hyman, just a beautiful, and this guy they never used on the power play. Another guy that I said I was right all along.
Here's the issue. So we have Hyman, who is it looks like $5 or $6 million is the price out there. I don't think
that's the going rate.
I don't think the Leafs can give him that.
I know, but you might have to, because you take Hyman out of the lineup.
I know it's
and for the regular season, maybe you won't miss him, but come playoff time, he
had a lot of chances. In Game 7, he had so many chances he couldn't score.
I understand, but who's going to do the banging and crashing for you? Who's going to do that kind? They don't have enough players like that to begin with.
Yeah.
Right. So you lose him, and then what do you got? You don't have a team that does.
Keep him at
$5, $6 million. Edmonton Oilers.
But if you keep him at $5 or $6 million, then you have nothing in your bottom six. You're top heavy as hell, and you have the same problem you've had the last 2 years where you can't score in the last few games of the series.
Maybe you got to do the Islander thing. Not worry about scoring, worry about your defense, and then from the goalie out, and then
that would require a new coach. That would require a new coach.
What's that?
That would require a new coach.
Maybe, yeah, because Keith is. He likes that possession thing with the defenseman moving up and getting caught all the time, which Riley does a lot of, as you know.
Yeah. So I would assume you believe that Anderson is gone. There's no chance he's coming back.
Yeah, I think so, because, like I said, where's the money going to come from to keep him, right?
Right, especially with Hyman out there, you got to re-sign Hyman.
Yeah, so I think we're just going to have to keep Campbell
you keep Bogosian.
Yeah, Bogosian, I guess. He's a big guy. I guess. Yeah, he's on the cheap end, right?
Dermott is also up. Do you keep Dermott?
Yeah. Dermott is. If you can trade him for something, I don't know what can you get for him.
Not a whole lot.
Yeah, I don't think you can do much there. And I guess you keep Spezza for the $700,000. He'll probably stick around.
Yeah, I think the Leafs, they've got to make a big move. I don't think they can come back with the same team and expect different results. I just
but this was bad. I'm telling you. I mean, the Boston series, the last 10 minutes of that game was a disaster. But this was colossal. Like
worse.
this
Yeah.
is colossal. Like you're up 3-1, and it was good because this team you should have beat. And it was very
And
heartbreaking.
it wasn't like Price was amazing. Like I want people to stop saying Price
He was
Price stole
no
the
heart.
series.
He was steady.
He was
He
just
was
steady.
steady.
He wasn't great. Like the Leafs didn't make life
He
hard on him. I kept saying, Leafs, get in front of him, bang him,
yeah.
take a penalty if you have to hit the guy. They made his life easy. He was making easy regular saves.
They scored on him. They got the goals. They had 3-0 lead Montreal 2-0. We came back. We scored 3 goals on him and 2 goals. So he wasn't like he was stopping everything. He was.
Right.
We were getting to him, but
it was mental mistakes that cost the Leafs. Mental mistakes.
The mistakes were colossal again. Like this is just who does a 2-on-0 and then the other one and just it doesn't. It could only happen here.
Like the Leafs are yeah, exactly. The Leafs are dominating overtime. I was watching that game. They had 13
shots. to 2 the shots were.
And Dermott makes one mistake and it's in the net. I mean, they're cursed. I mean,
look what the Islanders did tonight. They hop on every mistake Boston made and the puck's in the net.
Yep, turnovers. So
they played this. They played this.
Yep.
They play this hockey that's this really defensive hockey, but they're also a very smart team and they jump on your mistakes. Now Tampa Bay is another animal.
Right.
They play the same game as the Islanders. They play any game you want to play.
Who would have thought that we'd have a rematch between the Islanders and Tampa Bay for the second straight years? Who would have thought that would have happened?
And how about Fleury with that first goal he had led in the last 2 seconds?
That was pretty horrible.
What was he doing? Playing baseball? Trying to catch with the left hand?
That's what I mean about Fleury. Everyone calls me a Fleury hater. Look, I watched Fleury. He's either red hot and you can't score him at all, or he's the worst goalie in the league because he lets in some horrible goals. But Vegas bailed him out. They were down 2-0. They got 2 quick goals and won the game 3-2. They bailed him out twice in the series. So Vegas will probably end up playing Montreal, or we'll see if Colorado comes back.
So for all you Leaf fans out there, don't worry. We still, as long as we keep winning and getting in the playoffs, we have to improve this team.
17 years.
Listen, we went 7 years without a playoffs. Don't forget 2006 to whatever it was.
Like but, 5 straight years you can't win a round.
But we're on our way. We're on a winning track right now. That we can't.
I don't know about that.
Can't complain too much. I mean,
you blow a 3-1 lead. To Montreal, that's rock bottom.
I know, but there's still room to grow here, and everybody's got to chill. Everybody trade this guy, trade Marner, trade Matthews. But
you know what they're missing?
Listen, come on,
they got to get killer. Like I watched the interviews after. Okay, if you listen to Marner and Matthews after the series, they're like two rich kids. Like you didn't see the the care. Like there's no passion. There's the passion. There's no killer instinct on this team. There's no Doug Gilmour on this team. There's no Wendell Clark on this team.
This is the 7th game where they were not ready to play. Unlike Gilmour when they played Game 7 against St. Louis.
Yeah,
the crowd was going mental. You knew that Gilmour was taking this team to the dance. There was no way. And
like
they
even the game 7,
last game, was it?
Even the Game 7, they lost to the Kings when Gretzky put on a show. Like the Leafs played well. They didn't. Gilmour played well. Clark played well. They just got beat by
Wendell Clark. Yes,
of course. They got beat by the greatest player of all time who played his greatest game. According
to you.
Well, according to me,
but we're gonna have a show on that one.
We're gonna have a show on the GOAT. But Gretzky to this day has said
number 4, Bobby Orr.
Yes, Gretzky to this day has
greatest
said
player of all time is Bobby Orr.
Yes, we'll talk about that. But Gretzky says to this day that was his best ever game that he ever played. So but the Leafs are cursed.
We could have had him. We could have had him in Toronto, but the Stavros didn't want to sign him. Remember?
Yeah, that was really stupid. But so
the mid '90s, I think it was.
I think the Leafs are cursed. Honestly, I think they're cursed. Some of the goals that go in, some of the mistakes, you don't see this in other hockey games. And they blew a big chance because to me, this North Division was one of the worst divisions I've ever seen. Montreal just swept Winnipeg out of the playoffs after Scheifele did one of the dumbest things I've ever seen, trying to kill a kid from 200 feet across.
Oh yeah, I know.
Okay, so that series was done, and now the Leafs are going to have to deal with Boston, Tampa Bay, Florida, Carolina, all the teams from the East Division. It's a different animal now. Tampa Bay's not going.
I'm glad they're going to play those teams because that's going to toughen you up. you playing this soft division here all year round with these teams didn't help. It didn't help the cause. So I think that they will be fine. They just have to learn from their mistakes. That they're learning. Every year they're learning. So I think. But you know what? I'm getting worried. I'm 66. Am I going to see a cup again or no?
Well, what I'll say is this: that
we'll see.
If you look back 2 years ago, like when the divisions were normal, they only made the playoffs by 3 points. So there's no guarantee that the Leafs make the playoffs next year.
Oh yeah,
like,
no, there's
no guarantee.
Next year you got Carolina,
Florida, Tampa Bay, Boston, Ottawa's improved.
They all were better this year, right? Yeah.
Yeah. Like Ottawa might be actually
playoffs. They got the work cut.
Yeah.
They got their work cut out, man. I'm telling you, so, they better smarten up.
They're gonna have to wake up.
Okay, so
won't be easy.
Alrighty then. So we'll do our next show and then we'll see you then.
So yeah, we're gonna cut this off. I wanted to get my dad on to rant a little bit, but he's a real like Leaf supporter. It takes a lot for him to rant. Now, if you would have heard him right after the series, then it would have been worse than what you're hearing right now. He's telling everyone to relax right now, but he wasn't like this after the series. So just before we go, I'm gonna ask my dad one more question. You've been a Leaf fan a long, long time. Is this the biggest choke job you've seen from your team, ever?
Yeah, no, I think so because, like I said, the Leaf teams. If you guys have to go back in history, the Leaf teams have come through in the playoffs. Like I told you, they haven't lost too many playoff rounds as underdogs. They've won their share. Like when they won the cup, except for the teams in the early '60s.
Yeah,
they never finished first too many times in their history, maybe 4 times. So they were always going in as underdogs. They were underdogs against Montreal '67, and in '70 against the Islanders, they were underdogs there. They won in 7 games. So if you look at their history in the '80s and '90s with Gilmore, and then if you look at Pat Quinn, they were underdogs against Ottawa and some other series they played, and then finally they were favored against Philly and they lost.
Yeah.
So they're a team to watch out for when they get in the playoffs. I don't think they're a choking team in the playoffs. I think this one was not good.
They can't win elimination games. They're 0-5 in elimination games.
Yeah. This is not like the Leaf teams. If people look back in their history, they've come up big against some teams that had no business winning. If you recall, I know it's way back, but Russ Courtnall and the Maple Leafs knocked out the Chicago Blackhawks 3-0 in '87. They finished first Chicago and wiped them out. Yeah. This is some of the stuff they've done. So they've always had good goaltending. That's why in every playoff series with Balfour, they've had always Joseph. They've always had goaltending. That's what keeps them in these playoffs all the time. So they've had Anderson, but he never came through in the 7th game, and that's been their big problem. He hasn't become up big.
Yeah,
he's
been bad in the playoffs, Anderson. There's no.
And Marner has come up with zeros, and this guy has to really smarten up. He's got to start being a little tougher out there and take hits and start be a man. And I think Austin Matthews, if he gets being, this guy would be something else. I mean, seriously, he has to change his ways a little bit too. I think he's got to get a little tougher.
Yep.
And then we got hopes. Then we have a chance.
Are you comfortable with Campbell as your starter next year?
Well, what choice do we have?
You don't.
Right?
You want to get a backup?
I think I like Campbell. I think he'll be fine.
Yeah,
and I think
I like him too.
So I think we'll be okay there.
Okay, guys. Well, that's our show for today. This is episode 14. My dad wanted to make sure this was not 13. Okay,
no 13. It's bad luck.
He has enough bad luck on his team over the last 53 years. The last thing you want to do is show on the Leafs where it's number 13. So
exactly.
we're gonna cut this off. I really feel bad for my dad. He's been through.
Don't worry.
He's been suffering a long, long time here.
I feel bad for for Jose and everybody else. Those Leaf fans who never had a cup. At least I had one.
I mean, Anthony, you don't want to know how he felt when this happened, but we'll try to get him on the show and see if he can rant on his own as well. But he wasn't happy at all. And I was at his house when the Boston game happened where they blew a 4-1 lead with 10 minutes left in Game 7. So that's one of the funniest things I've ever seen.
If I had a cheap TV, I swear I would have threw a brick through it. But
Yeah, Jose told me after Game 6 he broke furniture in his house after Game 5 when the 2-0 happened. He broke something in his house, and then the wife decided to sit beside him when he watched the game so he wouldn't break anything in the house, which was very funny.
Yeah. Well, what can you do?
So that's our show, guys. I'd like to thank my dad for coming on. We're going to have him on here for the GOAT debate, which will be very intense and very interesting because
yes, sir.
To me, this is not even an argument. It's the great one, Wayne Gretzky, and he's going to tell me about Bobby Orr. Now, in fairness, I haven't seen Bobby Orr play, so that's why I'm bringing my dad on, so he can tell us about Bobby Orr and some of the things he did and was great at. I know Bobby Orr was great, but I never saw him. For me, I only saw Gretzky, Lemieux, and some others, Crosby. Yes. But Gretzky was the guy I saw, and normally the guy you see is the one you're going to say is the greatest. So,
we forgot one thing. McDavid's coming here in a couple of years after Matthew leaves. You know what's coming here, right?
Yes,
my contract will be up at the same time. And I'm telling you, mark my words, I said it here first. He is a Leaf fan. He does not want to be Edmonton. He wants to be here, and he's coming.
Well, we'll see what happens. That's a few years down the road. Matthews is going to win the Art Ross Trophy, or not? The Rocket Richard Trophy. Yeah. He will probably come second in MVP voting to.
Who's the other guy running?
Trying to remember. Crosby, Matthews, and
McDavid. No.
McDavid. He'll lose to McDavid this year. For MVP. But he'll. It's. We'll see if Matthews ends up in Arizona, like Brian Burke said a couple of years.
All right.
Ago. But
okay, so
that's all for today.
Again.
Please like, subscribe, and share. I'm sure a lot of you Leaf fans will like this video, and my dad will be back for the GOAT debate. We'll have him on in future. We have some plans for my dad, but this one's about his poor Leafs, and that's why this show's called My Poor Dad. So we'll see you next time on the Reece Report.
All right.